Okay, so I'm recording now, and this really is for my master coaching circle. So for those who have enrolled on the Master Spiritual Life Coach and Energy Psychology Diploma, we go live every month to do a Q&A. Sometimes I will do coaching demonstrations or just answer any questions for the benefit of the group. And we have new students that show up, and we have old students who like to continue like CPD by attending the ongoing monthly calls, and just to really help them progress. If anybody has any advice they want or any mentoring around clients that they're currently coaching, it's a little bit like supervision. They can bring that and I can give them guidance or guidance on business. So a couple of questions came in that the students wanted me to discuss on today's live. And one of those was how to quickly, because one of our girls is going for her coach accreditation with the IAP C&M. So she wants to carry a personal accreditation stamp that says she has been assessed and verified by the International Authority for Professional Coaches and Mentors. And what they do is they give you like a 30-minute telephone call where you have to coach them around an issue. So as you can imagine, it's very nerve-wracking, because as a coach, you normally spread out your sessions. You might give a client 60 minutes. You might even do a 90-minute session that I used to do 90 minutes, and I'd incorporate meditation into that. But I think Rebecca gives 60-minute coaching calls. So kind of trying to condense it into an already high pressured situation, trying to condense your coaching into 30 minutes. Like it's stressful, but you know what? It's doable. So you are going to, if you've got 30 minutes with a client, you are going to want to get to the heart of what it is that they want to make the most out of this call with you, whether that's an audio call or a video call or an in-person scenario. You haven't got time to kind of chew the fat about maybe, how's their day being, da, 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 da. You can do that, but you need to condense it all down. You need to be working with the two models, which are grow and smart. That is all you really have time for. With a 30-minute coaching call, and they have something specific that they want to work towards, and they want something actionable to take away. You can kind of do it with a limiting belief or a mindset technique as well, but you really need to know what the bullseye is for the beginning of the call. So your client needs to have a specific problem that they want to work on, and you've got 30 minutes to do it. So the grow model is perfect for that. The grow takes you through 4 steps. So it's identifying what their goal is. Is that goal measurable? How are they going to measure it? How will they know when they've achieved that goal? These are the like fundamental of coaching. Without these, you're just going to be going around the houses for 60, 90 minutes. You have to spend time really micromanaging what that goal looks like. How will they know when they've achieved it? What obstacles might get in the way? So you've got the G for grow. You've got the R for realistic or reality. Where are they now? So if somebody comes and says, okay, by next week, I've got to do this presentation and I'm just feeling so overwhelmed and I want you to help me with it. So the goal is they're going to present this presentation. You can start to get some facts, what time of day, where is it held, da, 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 da. Okay, just identify the goal is to do this presentation on this day at such and such. Okay, is there anything else that's important about this that you need to tell me at this stage? No. What is the reality? There are different ways to frame the R in grow. But what is your current reality? Meaning, okay, well, where are you now? You've got this presentation to deliver on Monday. You've got 5 days to do it. Where are you now in terms of fulfilling that goal? Well, I've started it, I'm halfway through, but it's just, life's got in the way and I'm just feeling really stressed about it. Okay, great. So reality is, You're halfway through, you've got another half to do. Is that right? Okay. And how long do you think that's going to take you? So you start coaching them around where they are right now. So you've got the goal, you've got the measure. The measuring stick is they do this presentation on set day. And the reality is they're halfway through it now. Okay. So now we move on to the O. So the O can be obstacles. So what obstacles, what might prevent you from achieving this goal? Well, I've got a big family meal. It means I'm going to drink. I'm going to wake up with a hangover. You know, I've just got like other priorities that can take me away from achieving this goal. Okay, what can you do to prevent? So we've now identified a potential threat to you achieving your goal. How important is it for you to achieve your goal? What will happen? Worst case scenario, you don't achieve your goal. Well, you know, the board of directors are there. If they see me performing badly, I might not get the pay rise that I want, or I might not get favored for the promotion that I really want. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most important, how important is it for you to achieve this goal and do it well, is what I'm hearing you say. Is that right? Yes. And it's a 9, 10, it's up there, it's a big deal. Okay. So your potential obstacle is this family meal. So tell me about this family meal. It's a summary. What normally happens? You've mentioned that you think you're going to wake up with a hangover, there's going to be drinking. And for you to do that, wake up with a hangover and drink, is that going to negatively affect your performance or your motivation towards achieving your goal? Yes, it will. Okay, so in this situation, now we've identified the importance of this goal and this potential obstacle. Okay, what can you do to make sure that nothing negative gets in your way of achieving your goal, which is super, super important to you? Because that's what I've heard you say. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Okay, well, let me think about that. I suppose I could, you know, drink water, or not drink at all, or just have one glass of wine instead of a bottle of wine. I could maybe drive, you know, so you're letting the coachee take ownership, right? What are you going to do? The person that has all the answers, being the client, not the coach. What are you going to do to prevent this from happening? You know, it's a potential threat. You know, it's a roadblock. How are you going to get past that roadblock unscathed so you can get to your end goal and feel fantastic? Okay, so there's 3 options that you've come up with. Which one of those do you feel really kind of resonates with you that you can make happen? Probably driving. Okay, that's brilliant. Okay, so do you want to write this down just so you kind of like really take ownership of it? Okay, so let's recap what we said so far. You've got this goal on Monday. It's a really big deal for you. How are you feeling about it, by the way? Are you excited? Well, yeah, I actually feel more excited now we're talking about it. Okay, just say feel excited, and get them to write down what they've been saying. And then the W is it can be when or will. So you can say, okay, now you started here, you know, you were nervous, you were apprehensive, you're feeling overwhelmed. How do you feel now? Just check in with yourself. Just check in and just imagine yourself doing that presentation on Monday, feeling fantastic. How do you feel? And you can take them through a really short meditation. I feel really good. I feel like I've nailed it. Okay. So earlier you said you're halfway through, okay? And you've got the rest to complete. How does that feel now? It feels okay. I feel motivated. I want to go and do it as soon as we get off this call. That's amazing. Okay, so what will you do when you get off this call? Well, I know what I need to go and research. Okay, write that down. Okay, and by doing those steps, will that help you complete the rest of this presentation? Yes. Is there anything else that we haven't identified through this call that might be important regarding this goal? No, I don't think there is anything important. Okay, amazing. Would you like me to check in with you on when is your presentation? It's at 3 o'clock. Would you like me to check in with you at 5 o'clock? Or would you like to schedule a call, or would you want me to check in with you? Or is there anything that you would like me to do to support you? Yeah, just send me a little message at 4:30, just asking me how it goes. And if I give you a thumbs up, it's okay. And maybe I would say, if that was really okay, rather than saying if I give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down, just imagine I message you and you give me a massive thumbs up. How does that feel? That feels amazing. How do you feel right now in relation to the goal from when you first started? And maybe at the beginning, I would have measured. How are you feeling in relation to this goal? 10 is super excited, can't wait to do it. And 0 is just don't want to do it at all. The client might have been at 3, even a 6 maybe. Okay, so when they say, how do you feel now? And they're at, I don't know, an 8 or a 10, then you know they have increased in their motivation and drive towards their goal. So that's how you condense a really 30-minute kind of goal setting session into 30 minutes. You've got to know what you're aiming for. And the SMART framework is SMART. Is it a SMART goal? Yeah. Is it measurable? Yes. We know she's going to do it on Monday. Is it realistic? Yes. She knows what she's doing. She's halfway through. She can do the rest. It's fine. And T, it's timely. When is it going to happen? So I hope that helps you understand how you can condense what might look like a 60-minute coaching session into a 31 when we are talking about goal setting. Another question that came up was around identifying limiting beliefs. So this is a bit of a different kettle of fish in a way. A limiting belief is something like, I can't do it. So if the client, we were just, identifying then said, oh, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm not good enough. I just can't do it. This is just too much for me. It's just too much. I'm going to fail. Those words, I can't do this. I'm just not good enough. I don't know enough. All of these things, they're limiting beliefs. And they could just be like trigger reactions in the moment. But sometimes if they're systemic, like they keep happening in somebody's life and it's a real kind of inner critical voice that they've got, it's a limiting belief that has a kind of root to it. So in coaching, I teach the students how to get to the root cause of a limiting belief, not necessarily well, it just depends on the limiting belief, because you can deal with it in the moment, but usually a limiting belief carries an emotional charge. And if you kind of don't help that emotional charge, which can be like chaotic, and put the client's nervous system into a chaotic coherence, if we don't find that root cause and help just to calm those waters, then any trigger is going to keep reactivating this chaotic nervous system. So you can do quick mindset turnarounds, such as the Byron Katie, the 4 questions technique. Is it true? Who are you when you think that thought? I can't remember the questions now, but you can do that. It's a great technique. Byron Katie, 4 questions that help you really turn around a negative limiting belief by helping you really get the evidence. Is it true? Normally these limiting beliefs are really not true. It's just something we've internalized to be true. And when we do look for evidence about I'm not good enough and all this, we realize that actually the evidence points to the opposite. So that can really help somebody in the moment. And you can write an affirmation to help your client keep on affirming the positive about themselves. When you're working with like deep-seated limiting beliefs, such as the inner critic, it's helpful to sometimes go back and just see where that first started, how it's actually played out systemically throughout a client's life. And again, look for evidence. You can use the Byron Katie, but really helping the client to calm their nervous system down. And what we want to kind of coach with then is something called post-traumatic growth. The coaching industry is emerging, where coaching through the trauma awareness coaching is really an emerging field in coaching, which is great because as adults, 60% of us have experienced childhood ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, which are classed as trauma. Now, trauma isn't about the event, it's about what happens to us internally, as you know, at the time of the event and after the event. So trauma is what happens in our bodies when we internalize the situation. And trauma could look like dad being angry when he comes in from work, and you know, the client being just remembering being scared. That can be a traumatic experience for your client. It doesn't need to be big abuse. It doesn't need to be major incidences. It's not about the event. It's about what happens internally due to the event. So 60% of adults have experienced, I think it's over 6 ACEs or more. I may have got that statistic slightly wrong, but 60% of us have experienced adult childhood, adverse childhood experiences, which cause our brain to adapt itself into survival mode. So this is where it's important to look at your client's nervous system. How are they regulating themselves? So when you're looking at people with a trauma-informed brain, you're looking at their nervous system, you're looking at their adaptive or maladaptive behaviors to regulate themselves. So maladaptive behavior to regulate yourself could be as simple as gambling, online shopping, sex addictions, zoning out, watching TV, scrolling can even be a symptom of trying to regulate your nervous system now. You know, healthy ways to do that would be checking in with your body, learning mindfulness and meditation techniques, helping self-soothe through inner body practices, not external things. Don't get me wrong, the gym and exercising can be shown to release endorphins, which can help stimulate, calm down the nervous system. So those external things can help, but it's really helpful to help a client who is dysregulated to take notice of what's happening in their body and in their nervous system. So, so one of the coaches mentioned somebody who potentially has had a lot of life occurrences, lots of incidences in their life that they are, you know, wanting to kind of feel better about, and that can be known as, you know, it can be kind of chronic trauma or chronic nervous system, sympathetic nervous system. So they're in their fight, 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 or freeze, the 3 Fs. So, our nervous system is helping us escape certain things. But when we have been in high alert, so, in a fear-based high alert nervous system on sympathetic, it's very responsive and reactive. And it will pick up, this, I think it's called proception, of our body kind of extends out into the ether and picks up on cues that are deemed dangerous to us. So we can be on high alert and not consciously know what the threat is. We might not even see a threat, but our nervous system is picking up on these threats because we're so attuned into the 3 Fs. Our nervous system is in sympathetic, which is the fight, fright, freeze. It's just switched on, and it's hypervigilant. So when you've got somebody like that, they can be like, hyper aroused type of thing. They're nervous. They're like the world's against them. Like they can't do anything. They're just overwhelmed. They're stressed. That can lead to illness because the brain can then go into dorsal, which is switched off. Basically, it's like the fawn, they say, you know, that there's I think a David Attenborough famous documentary where the tiger or lion catches the deer fawns plays dead, and some other like animals try and, you know, snare off the tiger so they can eat the deer. So the deer's wakes up, you know, realizes, so basically the deer's come out of the body, so it doesn't experience everything that's about to happen. It's gone dorsal, plays dead, and then realizes there's no threat and jumps up and escapes. So, you know, that's the nervous system that's gone into dorsal, play dead, freeze, gone back into the 3 Fs, the sympathetic, and legged it and lived. So, you know, our nervous system flits from all these 3 different states. You know, that one state is the parasympathetic, which is like love and connection with other people. Then it's in the 3 Fs. So it's parasympathetic, happy, sympathetic, you know, on alert, and dorsal, which is like, I'm frozen, I just can't do anymore, I'm just going to stay in bed, I have zoned out. So there's all these different states, and when people are not aware of what's going on in their body through various reasons, then they can fall into dorsal, and they may not be able to quickly, like the deer, get themselves back into this sympathetic nervous system. Like the deer was in dorsal and then it's gone, oh my God, and it shook itself and it's gone. But sometimes if we're in dorsal, just depends. The client might find it really hard to pull themselves back, or they might find it easy. It really depends. But what is happening is they're not regulated in their nervous system. So one of the things is, if your client, you know, has had a lot of stress in their life, and maybe a lot of illness, you want to look at how they regulate themselves. You know, what habits. I'm reading a great book at the moment, Atomic Habits by James, somebody, I've forgotten now. Atomic Habits. It's a brilliant book anyway, and it talks about the systems. It talks about, you know, just changing your habits just a little tiny bit, but do them often, and then you're more in line to reach whatever it is that you want to reach, or change whatever you want to change, rather than trying to make these big massive goals and then you just slip back. So Atomic Habits is all around changing the systems, and the systems are the way that you do, you know, these little tiny micromanaging ways around the ways that you do things. So let's say you want to cut out sugar, well, rather than maybe just cutting it out completely in one go and just kind of going crazy and then reaching for a load of sugar, you just start to make these micro changes, and those micro changes might even look like shopping in a different place, going a different way to it, really avoiding those like triggering things that you may not think would help you had you just gone into cutting out sugar, but just changing all the systems that, you know, make up you and the things that you do. So I hope that helps. I'm just trying to think if I've answered everything. So yeah, beliefs can be different. You know, they can have roots that go back a long way, or they could just be a simple mindset shift. So they're possible to deal with them quickly, or you may have to have longer sessions, but always be mindful about your client's nervous system and how they regulate. Take care for now, guys.